Henry Humming, written by Irene Starr, read by Miss Bennett, Chapter 6, The Flight Fight, Henry versus Slade. As they flew over a field with very few bushes, Emmett, slightly breathless, joined them in flight. "You almost lost me back there. You three are bringing back my youth," Emmett stated happily. "I'm sorry. Why are you still here?" JJ asked. "What's that, son? You have to speak louder. Old Emmett's ears aren't what they used to be," Emmett said to JJ. A loud screech filled the ear, causing them to jump. "Oh, now I can hear you," Emmett said. "Wasn't me. That's louder than my warning call," JJ said. They looked up to see a huge predator bird circling above them. "Fly for cover now!" Emmett yelled. They flew to a bush in the middle of the field. The sun was going down and the moon was coming up. Henry, JJ, Stella, and Emmett huddled together under the small bush that had hardly any leaves on it. "What kind of bird are we hiding from?" Stella asked. "That would be an golden eagle. I've seen one attack a full-grown deer before." Henry pulled out the seeds of life. He flipped to the golden eagle page and read, "The golden eagle has very good eyesight, spots prey from a long distance, and is 8 times more powerful than a human in resolving power." "What does that mean?" Stella asked. Speak, bird, Jay said frantically. "Golden eagles can make out objects faster than humans. It means the few leaves on this bush are not nearly enough to hide us. We have to get out of here. Standing still will make no difference," Henry explained. "Oh, I wouldn't recommend that, son. Golden eagles can fly 50 miles per hour, Emmett warned. "How do you know that?" Henry asked. "You don't have to live this long and not learn a thing or two. Let me call the last time. Oh yes, it was back in, JJ threw his wings in the air. "Really? Story time? Between Henry's book and the old geezer stories, how will we have time to discuss our favorite seeds?" JJ said sarcastically. Emmett leaned closer to JJ. "What's that, son? You want to talk about seed? We should focus on the problem at hand first, that eagle." JJ slapped his face in astonishment. They all turned their attention back to the golden eagle. "I'm going out. I'll fly south. Y'all start flying west as fast as y'all can," Henry said. Stella grabbed Henry's wing. "What? Are you crazy? You're going to get yourself killed." "Let's not be too hasty, son. I can handle this. You 3 whippersnappers head on out," Emmett said. JJ glared at Emmett. "Listen, Grandpa." Stella let go of Henry and turned to JJ. "JJ, I think we should all work together." JJ sighed but nodded in agreement. They all turned around to make sure Henry agreed, but the space was empty. Henry had flown out already. Stella, JJ, and Emmett looked up through the bare branch bush to see the golden eagle diving straight their way. Just before it looked like he would join them in the bush, he changed paths. That's when he saw Henry doing circles around the eagle's head. Henry dove down, then up, and hovered in the air, waiting for the eagle to follow. The eagle charged full speed toward Henry. "You're messing with the wrong bird, Hummer. I will catch you and make you watch as I eat your friends, and then I'll eat you for dessert," the golden eagle said. Henry wasn't fazed by the threat. He remained hovering in the air. "My name is Henry, not Hummer." "My name is Slade, and that will be the last name you hear," Slade told Henry. Stella cried out for Henry to move as Slade closed in on him. Henry flew sideways and out of the way in the nick of time. Henry sighed in relief as Slade flew right past him, barely missing a tree along the forest's edge. Slade, not giving up, started angrily flying back toward Henry. Henry watched as Slade flew higher and higher. Henry knew Slade would try to dive on him. Slade dove down, and just inches before he reached Henry, Henry flew backward. Slade almost landed head first in the ground. Henry teased Slade by making circles around his head. Angered, Slade flew toward Henry and made another side move. Slade tried to fly around Henry and dive again. Henry flew backward and then hovered right above Slade. Slade took a deep breath and smiled an evil smile. He flew toward Henry at 50 miles per hour. Henry dove sideways and dove and down as fast as he could. Slade smiled and followed Henry down toward the ground. Slade believed he had Henry trapped. "You're going to taste so good as my after dinner mint," Slade said to Henry. Inches before Henry hit the ground, he turned up and made a loud whistle while coming up in the air really high, a common move for hummers. Slade, unable to stop fast enough, landed beak first in the dirt. Henry swung back around and hovered over Slade. The items along with the list for the cure fell out of Henry's backpack and landed in front of Slade. Slade stared at the list with great interest. "Henry!" Stella screamed. Henry heard Stella scream and loud stomping. A herd of cattle wildly ran his way. Slade pushed with all his might against the dirt and flew away. Henry snatched his items and list and flew up just in time. The herd of cattle stampeded through the field, followed by a barking border collie. JJ screeched, and Stella flew over and hit Henry with her wing. "You scared the salt out of me," Stella scolded, but then softened and said, "Give me some sugar." Henry blushed as Stella kissed his cheek over and over. By the time she stopped, Henry felt dizzy. JJ flew over to Henry with a huge smile. "You're either crazy or brave." "I'm going with brave," JJ said, nudging Henry teasingly. "Now let's get out of here." Slade. Several falcons surrounded Slade in a wine vineyard a couple of miles from where Henry had defeated him. Slade popped a large purple grape off of the vines and tossed it into his beak. He slowly chewed before speaking to the falcons, who waited to see what this meeting was all about. "Welcome, falcons. My name is Slade. You must be wondering why I have gathered you here. For many years, my kind has talked about joining forces with the falcon. We have much in common. For example, small birds mean nothing but ear food," Slade said to his captive audience. The falcons looked at each other and nodded in agreement. "Have you heard of the cure for the bird disease?" Slade asked them. The falcons seemed confused. Slade continued, "There's a rare bird disease going around and a list of ingredients that may cure this said disease. One of the ingredients happens to be a feather from an eagle. The mob boss himself knows of this cure and plans to bottle it himself. He will stop at nothing to be the provider of this cure. I say we stop him and any other bird with such plans. They will pluck us bald, steal our babies if they have to," Slade said. One of the bigger falcons, Malcolm, stepped forward. "What does this have to do with falcons? Why should we get involved?" Malcolm asked. "When the eagle feathers become scarce, who do you think they will go after?" "I've heard the rumors, and all the beaks chirp of falcon feather," Slade said. Malcolm raised his brow in interest. The other falcons spoke nervously amongst each other. "What do we do to stop this madness?" Malcolm asked. "We get the cure first. We monitor the amount that is available, making sure we profit, but never run the risk of becoming featherless. We control the operation," Slade explained. "You have enough eagles to help you do that. Why ask me and the rest of the falcons?" Malcolm asked. "We need more bird power behind this operation. After all, Mob Boss and his gang aren't the only obstacle we fight against. As I speak, there is a hummingbird seeking the cure," Slade said. Malcolm and the other falcons roared with laughter. "A hummingbird? You place fear on the smallest bird species known? A hummer can't even fly too far without seeking nectar for strength," Malcolm said between snorts of laughter. Slade was annoyed at being laughed at, but tried not to show his emotions. "This is no ordinary hummingbird. He has some kind of posse helping him gain the said cure. He tricked me and then escaped. With your ability to dive at speeds of 200 miles per hour and the golden eagle's keen eyesight, we will make quite a team." Think of the profit we will make, Slade enticed. Malcolm turned to the other falcons. The greedy-eyed falcons nodded in agreement. Slade sensed victory. I'm Malcolm Falcon, and you, my ally, have yourself a deal. Now, where can we find this Hummer? Malcolm asked.